if I were to put everything in a box, I need to do 5 personal, 2 real estate, or 5 real estate, I would lose interest really quick. So it's whatever just comes to mind. You have to let it feel natural. Otherwise, you're going to burn out too soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the walkthrough. This is the most underrated, valuable marketing show in real estate history. I am Eric Simon, aka the Broke Agent, and I am joined here by Jason Cassidy, aka the Oracle, because this man can predict the real estate market. This man can predict marketing trends, and this man can pick college basketball like nobody I have ever seen. Jason, how you doing today?
We've had a heck of a week, Eric. So far, so good. I think we're
That's right.
10-4 on our picks this week.
10-4, baby. Let's go. We are in the holiday spirit, and we have someone joining here who is also in the holiday spirit. She is a very special guest, someone we have featured, Jason, probably 4 or 5 times on the show. And Jason has been marketer of the week, possibly marketer of the year. Jason has been begging me for months, please get Celine on. Please get Celine on. Ladies and gentlemen, she has grown her account to 25,000 followers since she started in February. She has closed over 7 million from social media. Celine Hannah. Celine, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Wow, what an introduction. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
I'm glad we're finally getting to do this. Your content is like elite.
Elite. This might be one of the best profiles in real estate, folks, and we are going to break down Celine's content strategy, her content buckets, her ideation, how she actually gets leads on social, her thought process behind filming. I have about 10 examples, Jason, of Celine's content to show. Then we're going to get into December content ideas. And by the way, we didn't even tell Celine to put on the Santa hat. She just instinctively knew that, because this is a trend jack in itself. If you guys like the sound of this for this episode, please throw this video a like and make sure you subscribe to the podcast. We come out with this every week. All right. So Celine, let's start with the beginning of your content journey. So you started posting in February. You've grown 25,000 followers already. What was the first video you posted?
The first video I posted was something that just interested me, which was the Lavelle Beach House in Newport Beach. It's considered the first ever modern home. And I'm not selling it. It was just something interesting to me. And it was a fun fact about the area that I want to farm. The second video I posted was something that I'm struggling with, which is how much do you need to make to actually qualify for a house, especially in Orange County. It's so expensive here. So I started with homes that I personally would be interested in buying. So like 600,000 homes, $700,000 homes, and calculating the mortgage payment and telling people, hey, this is how much you need to make to qualify for it. I think that's something that people really struggle with, is the finances. So I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for people.
Yeah, I love those videos, and we're going to show some of those examples here as well. But instead of just naming the price of the actual house, it's how much you have to make to afford this house, which I think is a very good hook.
Vice versa, she does the what would your payment be in this house? So that's like a Jimmy Mackin, Sharon like go-to ad is like houses in San Diego under $4,500 a month as opposed to under $800K. Because people don't care about the number, they care about their monthly payment. And so you have a lot of good videos like that where it's like, here's what your payment would be in this house. It's elite.
So you have so much variety on your account. You have education videos, humor, skits, listing videos, hyper local. What is the ideation process like with this? Are you picking each week, like I have to post an education video, or is it kind of spur of the moment content?
That's a good question. I think if I were to put everything in a box, I need to do 5 personal, 2 real estate, or 5 real estate, I would lose interest really quick. So it's whatever just comes to mind. You have to let it feel natural. Otherwise, you're going to burn out too soon. So I would say 80% of my content is real estate, and then 20% is personal. But that's just naturally. Real estate's easier to talk about because it's factual, whereas personal is like a little bit too vulnerable to share too often.
Yeah, the 80-20 rule. And Jason, we have kind of gone back and forth on this podcast about educational content. I've kind of gone the angle that it's boring, but you do it in such a way where it is not boring at all, which is kind of a skit format where you're talking to yourself, and it really helps the audience inform on what the actual topic is, as opposed to just giving like a definition of a specific real estate term.
I just found out I'm inheriting my parents' house and I don't really know what to do with it. Well, did they have a trust set up? A trust? You mean like a will? Not exactly. A trust is way stronger than a will. How much is the property worth? It's worth like $1 million. Okay, first thing, make sure the house is in a trust so you can avoid probate. What's probate? Probate is when the government helps you allocate your inheritance and they'll normally charge you a percentage. So on $1 million, you're probably going to spend around $60,000 on fees just for inheriting the house. Whoa, I do not want to spend that much in fees. So I have to set up a trust to avoid probate? Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay, that's easy. Thank you. I'll ask my parents to set up a trust. I'll probably end up selling the house anyways. I don't want to be a landlord. I've heard horror stories about that. But then you'll have to pay capital gains tax. Why don't you just do a 1031 exchange and defer it instead? What's that? I'll tell you in the next video. Make sure to follow because it could save you thousands of dollars.
Ideal right there. I love that. By the way, very topical because as you can see here, I'm setting up my trust. How about them apples? Let's go.
That's
there
awesome.
you go. So that skit style, Celine, I've seen this. You've probably done it 5 or 6 times now on your content. By the way, the engagement on these videos, like 800 likes, hundreds of shares, a ton of comments, because it's so much more engaging, again, than just doing a traditional definition video. So what was the thought process behind doing those skits, and how do you choose those topics to inform your audience?
That's a good question. It's interesting because I've posted these topics before, but just talking straight at the camera and saying, like, you need to set up a trust. It's more important than a will. And if you look at the engagement between those two videos, the skits do way better because it's more personality in the video. You know, you can't really predict what the person's going to say next. Whereas the factual, talking head videos, they're just boring. Like you said earlier, Eric, it's boring. So the skits are just performing better. I see a lot of people do skits with green screens, and you can do this from your iPhone. I encourage people who are listening just to try from their iPhone first. You do not need a fancy camera. In fact, I think it might even get more engagement without a fancy camera. I'm going to test that out soon to see if with an iPhone it would perform better than with a fancy camera.
Mm-hmm. And I've noticed too that if you're listening on Spotify, head over to YouTube so you could actually watch this. Like it's like 2 different people talking. So you're in different outfits. So you actually feel like it's another character asking these questions. Is there a specific way you go about picking those topics for the skits? Is it because your clients are asking you these questions, or how do you come up with that content?
So I try to look at statistics. We are about to experience the largest transfer of generational wealth with the baby boomers going between ages 60 and 80. They're going to be transferring massive amounts of wealth very soon to their kids. And we all need to be prepared. If you're inheriting property, you need to be prepared. So that way you don't have to, if there's a way for you to save thousands of dollars in the future, you should set it up for yourself today. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting. I'm going to be filming a video today about things to look for when you purchase a property, because the US Census Bureau just laid out a statistic saying that there's going to be more people over the age of 60 than less than 18 years old in the near future because of the baby boomers. There's just so many baby boomers. So I'm going to make a video about properties that you should invest in that have desirable traits. For example, a main floor bedroom, a main floor bathroom, 1-story homes. Those are things that are going to be very relevant to our generations very soon here.
Is the tactic of what you're doing when you're going back and forth on that video, because you're right, it hits better than just the talking head, let me tell you about a trust. No, it's like we're listening in on this conversation between 2 people, but it happens to be you in both ways, different hair, different style. Where did you get that idea? Is that something you saw on like TikTok or you brought over, or is that just something you came up with on the fly?
No, I've seen it done before between people. It's definitely a spin-off, like from someone else's content. I think her name is Your Rich BFF, Vivian, and she just does it back and forth between herself as well. But I think she uses green screens mostly. I think the difference between that and my videos is that it's like in my actual home. There's no green screens. It's not overly edited.
Yeah, it just sounds like we're listening in on a conversation between friends, which is
yes.
Going back to like Theone, we've talked about in separate episodes where she was just like pouring a bowl of cereal or making a sandwich, and she had set up her phone and she was just like, hey, listen up. And it was just like she was FaceTiming with a friend. And I was like, that's why it works, because it's so casual. It's not some forced professionally edited, although that one might have been professionally edited, but it looked like it because it was the back and forth.
And you're asking questions that a normal person would ask. So you're putting yourself in the shoes of the audience. So it's like you have the informed person versus the uninformed person. And it's just so much easy to actually get that knowledge. And notice how she picked the topics, Jason, and I want the audience to understand this as well, is it's based off of stuff that's actually trending in the news. So you're not just saying what's the definition of an earnest money deposit because you think people should actually know what that is. You're doing it based off of the fact that there are a ton of news articles right now that talk about this generational wealth transfer. So that's a trend, Jack, in itself that's more subtle, but also brilliant because you're hitting on that note that everybody's already thinking of.
Yeah.
So are you actively reading real estate news from any specific sources like BAM or anything like that to actually get your information to make these videos?
BAM is the best.
Oh, thank you.
BAM is up there. It's whatever I come across. I try to brush up on news every single morning. That way I'm not, missing out on something important. But keeping current matters is good. BAM is great. There are tons of resources for us to educate ourselves. I mean, if you don't want to, go read an article, just ask ChatGPT for updates as well, and then do your research based on that. I mean, you can use AI to help you come up with trending topics pretty easily.
Absolutely.
I have a logistical question specifically on that type of style, because I want to do some of those. Do you actually film all the left sides in a row and then all the right sides in a row and then edit? Or do you actually say something like it?
That would be so much work if you went back. If you changed your shirt every single time.
And your hair.
That's a crazy question.
All left, all right, and then your editor goes put them in order. Okay,
it's a good question. So here's like how I start. I start with the script. You always start with the script. Write it down. Put person 1, person 2, and write it all out. And then you go and you film all of person 1, and then you film all of person 2. And then I would, if I were you, hire somebody to edit it because it's just way too much time to edit it yourself.
Genius.
Yeah, that makes sense. Otherwise, that would be a 6-hour video, Jason. She'd be switching every 5 seconds.
Every time, and then going, and then back.
Yeah. So
makeup too.
So this is, again, just such a great way for entertaining, educational content. Anybody could do this. And it's not necessarily like everybody thinks of skits as being funny. It's not necessarily like you're laughing at this. There's definitely a comedic element to it just based off of the fact that you're kind of 2 different people. But anybody could do this. Just dress up as 2 people and have a conversation with yourself as if you're a buyer or a seller. So you mentioned earlier at the beginning about your listing videos and how much you need to make. This hook is so good. So I just want to play one of these right now. And you've posted this style consistently and the engagement is absolutely ridiculous.
This is how much you need to make if you want to qualify for this townhouse in Irvine, California. You're looking at a 3-bed, 2.5 bath, just shy of 1,300 square feet. It's listed at $980,000. So let's assume you put 20% down, then your total payment with taxes, insurance, and HOA is $6,253 a month. So to figure out if you qualify, you'll take that payment plus any monthly debts you have and double it. Assuming you don't have any debts, you'll want to make about $12,500 a month or $150,000 a year. But remember, if you buy this with someone, you both need to make over $75,000 a year. Comment the word Irvine and I'll send you more information on this townhouse.
It's a work of art. And I don't say that lightly because the music, the hook intro, it's B-roll footage, but then you're popping up in every room. So again, if you're on Spotify, head over to YouTube so you actually see these videos, or just go follow Celine right now. But I guess the question, I don't even really know what the question is besides showing how good this is. But why, I guess, starting with the mortgage payment as opposed to a feature of the house? Like, you've done this consistently and it keeps working. So what's the reason behind that?
Money motivation. People are money motivated. I mean, I could look at pretty houses all day, but if I can't afford it, I don't want to waste my time. I want to buy a home. I want to grow my real estate portfolio, and I'm sure everybody else does too. So the way to do that is to know the numbers behind the property.
Did you say you were a broker as well?
Broker, loan officer, yes.
Yeah. So like you can tell, and I think I got this from your Instagram, you're 26 years old?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. If you didn't catch this in her caption, she's actually breaking down the payment into like the PITI, includes the HOA, but even says interest rate 6.1, APR 6.33. Like it is flawless, that you're doing everything the right way as well. Most people are just like, the payment would be 10 grand or whatever, but they're not actually breaking it down so that anybody can see it. They're not actually saying APR correctly, which is what you're supposed to do. And then you have it perfectly set up with the mini chat too. So it's not even just like the video, which is stylistically really good. Your caption game is really strong too, because it's extremely knowledgeable. It's not just the average agent just like, look at this house, buy it. It's like, here's exactly what the payment line item would be. It's like a freaking estimated settlement statement. It looks really, really professional though. But it's from a 26-year-old Gen Z agent, you know what I mean? And so like, it's kind of like not what you would expect from a Gen Z agent, but you're hitting all the marks, which is just, this is why we, the 40-year-olds on the show, are so like,
whoa. Just you, Jason. Happy birthday, by the way.
Are so impressed by this, because it's obviously like, I say this all the time. Well, Gary Vee said it first, but like the OGs in the business we're always like, we have the experience, so we're better because we have the experience. But most of the OGs don't know how to do social. And it's like, okay, well, the Gen Z knows how to do social, but they don't have the experience. So when you find a Gen Z who has the experience or does it right, it's like, it's unicorn status, which is fantastic.
Oh, thank you. It helps to have a mentor. If you're young, if you're in your 20s or even 30s, or if you're just a brand new agent, doesn't matter how old you are, find a mentor who can help you learn from the older generation and use that to your advantage.
Definitely. So are you doing that sort of style for every listing video? Like, is that your go-to listing video, or do you do others as well?
I do others as well. One that did well for me recently was, if I were to buy a home in Orange County, here's what I would buy and why. So talking about its location, why it's so central, and how, there's a 2-car attached garage, which is a nice luxury to have in a property. So that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Telling people why you would buy specific properties.
And I think we have an example of that. So we have one where it's a listing video entry-level home, and your hook here is just calling out the exact demo that you're trying to get to buy this home.
If I were to buy an entry-level home in Orange County, I would choose this one, and here's why. You're looking at a 2-bed, 2-bath at just over 1,500 square feet, and it's listed at $830,000. This condo is located in the South Coast metro area, so you're just 10 minutes away from South Coast Plaza and 20 minutes away from the beach. This condo also comes with a 2-car attached garage. The HOA is $310 a month, but it includes a guarded gate, pool, water, trash, and more. What do you think of this community? Is this somewhere where you could live? Comment the word condo and I'll send you more information on this community.
So these are like 30 seconds long too. So the retention on these videos is probably crazy good. You're cutting every 2 seconds. You're having the mini chat at the end, and you're calling the exact demo. Entry-level home, that calls my attention, right? Because I would be an entry-level buyer. All right, so now I want to get into some more of your educational videos. You have an informative inspection video that I want to play that basically breaks down what to look for in an inspection. And again, this is done so much better because you're actually in the setting of the house as opposed to doing this behind a mic like this.
These are the 4 most common safety features that you'll probably see during a home inspection and why they matter. Number 4 is a self-closing garage door. This door that leads from your garage to your house needs to be self-closing to protect you from car fumes and garage fires from getting inside your house. Number 3 is water heater straps. In California, we're earthquake prone, so your water heater needs to be strapped to the wall in case it tips over. It protects you from flooding or gas leaks. Number 2 is working smoke detectors. They need to be on every floor, in every bedroom, and in every hallway. And the number 1 most common safety feature is these GFCI outlets. These are the outlets with the little test and reset buttons, usually in kitchens, bathrooms, garages, basically anywhere near water. They help prevent electric shock. And those are the 4 most common safety features that I've noticed during home inspections. But realtors, what am I missing? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to follow for more real estate stories.
Gold again. So I think being in the setting of what you're talking about is really important. We always talk about people that do hyperlocal content. There's a reason that Alyssa Kernut does so well. It's because she is always in the actual setting of where it is. So with a video like that too, do you script that out beforehand? And like, kind of what's the process behind the creative?
Definitely. I wish I could show you my software that I use to track all of my content. It's called Notion. It's what my videographer recommends.
Never use that.
You use it as well. And all the scripts are always written out, even the payment ones, even though I can do it on the spot, it's always written out beforehand, because when you're in front of the camera, you just want to go, go, go. Otherwise, you're going to spend hours filming. So I think people struggle with scripting the most. Script your videos, talk about the most important safety features, talk about the ones that you noticed are the most common, because those ones are just like GFCI outlets. Like that's just the most common. But you could talk about how your foundation is important, your roof is important. You could tell stories, but cut your videos up so that it's not just all in one shot.
Mm-hmm. And the call. Yeah, go ahead.
Worked really well there too. So you gave the 4, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
someone's going to start that off, the 4 safety things, and they're going to watch number 1 and 2. Well, they're going to stick around because now they want to see 3 and 4, especially something like home safety. Like everybody lives in a home, so we want to know if these safety things are in our home. So anytime you can do like the 3, the 4, the 5, something with an end, so they will stick through to the end. It always helps for retention too.
Mm-hmm.
And notice the audience you called out at the end. You said, real estate agents, what did I miss? So not only is it informative to clients, buyers and sellers, but it's also getting engagement from real estate agents who probably follow you. Obviously good for referrals, good for engagement. And then you say, follow for more real estate stories. So are you purposely doing a call to action at the end of every video, or does it depend on the video?
It just depends on the video, whatever feels natural. If it doesn't come naturally to you, just leave it out.
Yeah. And you probably do get more follows because you're actually telling people to follow you, but you're doing it. What's that?
Sometimes it feels a little silly, but I think it helps. We could probably see exactly
you do
how
it.
many follows.
The casualness that you presented is really good. Where it's just like follow for more real estate stories. It's like, okay, it's kind of, it's passive as opposed to kind of like a forced call to action.
I mean, you got 25,000 followers in 9 months, so I think you're doing something right.
If you're listening to this podcast right now, you should definitely like and subscribe. Whatever platform you're on right now is a good time. It'll help out a lot.
And we have seen a direct correlation between when we call for likes and subscriptions throughout the actual video. So if you are watching this, just like Celine said, like it right now. Let's get to 100. We haven't got to 100 in a while. Show us some love for this amazing interview right here.
Please.
All right. I'm going to switch up the strategy a little bit. So here is a closing carousel that you posted. And Jason, look at the captions of these because the storytelling is so amazing. Why are you smirking, Jason?
Because they're good. I'm looking forward to the caption.
Okay. So Celine, walk us through this as Haley kind of pokes around this photo. Like, what's the point of these closing carousels?
Okay, so maybe you're on a walk right now and you're not looking. I'll just read you the caption. And it's pictures of beautiful David and Lily. And here's what the caption says. It says, David and Lily are home. Fun fact, David is the first person to reach out on Instagram when I started professional advertising 8 months ago. Now he and his wife are homeowners. David and Lily worked extremely hard to make homeownership happen. Even during moments of doubt, they pushed through. More of their story is coming soon. And at the end of the carousel, it's a review or a comment that Lily left. So it's just a very meaningful time. I mean, we're agents. We've seen extremely emotional sales happen. And I think if we can capture that for our clients, it shows that we just genuinely do care about them.
And
this is like most people will post like their Zillow review or their Google review, you know what I mean? And just like screenshot it. This is 10 times better. You're showing them in the house, and then it's actually their comment on the Instagram post. Same end result. You're showing off the Google review or the Zillow review, but you're like storytelling throughout, making it so much better.
Yeah, it really is. And then just you're selling emotion is what you're doing. Is like you see the happy photographs of your buyers, and you start with that, by the way. It's not like you have a hook of something else to rope people, and it's just like a photo of people that they don't recognize because they follow your page, right? But you're leading with your buyers and clients and making them like the star of your Instagram, which I think is a brilliant move, as opposed to saying like, check out my closing, and then it swipes to that. It's like it's right in your face right there. And then if I'm a first-time home buyer, I'm looking at this thinking, oh my God, Celine could help me with my dream. And also I'm thinking I could probably just reach out to her here on Instagram because you mentioned that was a closing from social, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
the first one.
Whether this is all intentional or not, I believe it is, because I think you're a brilliant marketer. Like it's the perfect packaging of every single post. And I want to show another one too, because you have a storytelling closing carousel, another one that the captions really just describe exactly what's happening. So if you want to break this one down too and read the caption, just because the caption is really important. Like we rarely talk about this, but this is kind of where the sauce is made.
Yeah. So it says it's pictures of Maggie and Josh who just bought a house and their dog. And just so you all know, I do hire a professional photographer. I get some balloons and we go out there. You don't have to do that. An iPhone works, but here's what the caption says. It says, "Congratulations to my friends Josh and Maggie on becoming homeowners. This was such a full circle moment for me. Maggie once tutored me in accounting at CSUF, where she also met her husband Josh. Fast forward 7 years later, and I had the honor of advising them on their first home purchase. It's such a blessing to grow with your friends and see them achieve their dreams. Thank you for trusting me, Josh and Maggie. May God bless your home, your new home, with love and laughter."
How much is the photo shoot?
um, Between 250 to 300.
And so is that usually like in lieu of like a closing gift-ish? Like it's that kind of is the closing gift. Sometimes there might be something more, but
I'll do like that and then a gift basket.
yeah,
And then if you guys do this, or if whoever's listening does this for their clients, it makes the perfect Christmas gift. If you take one of those professional photos and frame it for them,
so good.
or make it into something cute and then send it to their house.
Yeah, that's so good. I mean, obviously, like we've done closing gift photo shoots before, like new home photo shoots as the closing gift, and it's just it's they don't want your Cutco knives. I'm sorry, like they want but a photo shoot in their new house that they get to frame and put on the mantle or put in their Instagram story or whatever. It's just so much better. Make it about them. You're making the client the hero. It's not it has nothing to do with you. You're just getting to showcase them.
Yeah, and sometimes they don't want their photos taken, and that's all right too. And maybe it's just like, a solo guy who bought it, or maybe he doesn't want a photo shoot. Maybe he does want Cutco knives. Every client is different.
She had to
And
make sure she has a Cutco rep. She has to make
yeah,
sure.
exactly. She's definitely giving some knives out. I love how Sharon always tells that story, Jason, where he on stage, I think, talked about how nobody should give out knives, and then someone got him custom knives, and it was like a
Yeah.
funny circumstance.
That's
Um,
hilarious.
so the caption again. So if you don't do a photo shoot like this, and you're doing a standard just sold post, at least add in the story that Celine is doing, so that it does provide a little personality and character to the just sold. Otherwise, it's just kind of a braggadocious thing of just sold 10% over asking. Who cares? Like that's about you. It's not about the actual story of how you got the client, how they overcame something. It's just really, really effective marketing because you're selling the emotion of this. Speaking of stories, another content bucket that you have, storytelling reels. So you have kind of I guess it's a Glenda Baker style where you're just talking about, what happened in your first real estate transaction, but these also really help build the narrative of your Instagram, of your brand. Notice all these different buckets, Jason. It's actual listing videos, it's educational videos, and then now here's ones that kind of craft the story.
You won't believe what happened to me on my very first real estate deal. I was representing the buyers, and at first, the listing agent was super sweet. Halfway through the deal, he completely ghosted me. I couldn't get a hold of him or anyone at his brokerage for over 2 weeks. And mind you, the process is only 4 weeks long. I thought, what the heck, this is so unprofessional. We were a week away from closing when he finally called me. With tears in the sound of his voice, he said, "Celine, I'm sorry, I have cancer, I'm in hospice. I'm not going to live to see the deal close." I started bawling, and I learned a very important lesson that day. So never make assumptions and be extremely kind, because we have no idea what people are going through.
100%.
That's
That was so for those of you listening on not seeing, she's basically sitting there talking to the camera, probably talking to the cameraman, but then looking just off camera. A very Glenda Bakery. We've seen a few of the other storytellers who do this, where it's just like listening into story time with a friend. Obviously, that's an emotional kind of tearjerker one. But that storytelling frame works because the whole point, Tom Ferryism, right, is to get people to know you, like you, and trust you. And so by storytelling these things, people like really kind of connect with you and they like you. So that next time too, when you post something about the client closings or whatever, they're more likely to watch those because now they kind of know a little bit more about you aside from just the real estate stuff. And that's why those work. And that's just another masterclass version of it.
Do you have other stories that you plan on telling? Like, are you banking these kind of for future posts for 2026, or is it just kind of, I want to tell this now, I'm filming with my videographer?
It's whatever comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you get your best ideas from doing, like if you go for a long walk or you like to golf, or if you're on, you're on the beach and that's where you get your best ideas, just write it down right then and there. People who are listening to this, you probably have more stories in your mind than you think. And if you just take the time to sit and script them, just like put it out on a pen and paper. Just there's a message that you want to tell, there's a story that you want to tell, but you don't know how to tell it. Just spit it out, put it on a pen and paper, and it'll be easier for you to tell it later on.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't need to be done right then and there.
Yeah, that's great advice. And there are so many pieces of content that I haven't created yet that I do have written down that I do plan on making. And I think everybody should just have an idea bank. I know it seems like a easy kind of plan of action, but it is really important. Just have 5 or 6 buckets, whether you even have the buckets or not, and just write it out and know that, hey, I'll get to this eventually. Maybe this is a carousel. Maybe this is a video. But the the point of that video too, besides for the fact that a really sad story, the don't make assumptions aspect of it, when you have that note that you hit, that's something where everyone nods their head and they're like, oh, like you're right. Like if this client wasn't responding to me, I immediately think this person was mad at me or they're ignoring me, but who knows what's going on in their actual life. So just the way you handle these interactions, whether it's in real estate or in not, I think is pretty important. Little lesson right there, right, Jason?
Great job. Great lesson.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Or to Celine.
Yeah, exactly.
I would really love to know. You guys are hilarious. Every time I come across some of your content, I actually laugh out loud. Like people will have to stop me and be like, "What are you laughing at?"
Laughing at us? Or
Yeah,
see, like that.
maybe a little bit of both. Yeah. How do you come up with these ideas that are so funny?
Anxiety, childhood trauma.
Yes, exactly. No, it did come from real world experience. So for the real estate content, I had an ideation process, which just was basically just plugging everything on my notes section on my phone. So anytime I had a conversation with a client that didn't go well, or an awkward interaction at an open house, or a thought that I had in an inspection because I had no idea what the person was talking about, that little anxiety that I felt, I was thinking, okay, someone else has probably felt this too. Let me write this down in my notes section, tweet it out basically as a testing ground for the content. And then if it does well on that platform, then that's an idea that I could then post to Instagram or Facebook. So it's always kind of testing what works. Like yesterday, for example, I saw, are you a part of Lab Code Agents, that Facebook group? Or have you heard of it?
I need to be. I've heard about a
You don't need
lot
to be.
You don't
lately.
need to be.
Oh.
No, it's a bunch of spam at this point, but there are good ideas in real estate Facebook groups because you do see, especially from a real estate content perspective, because you do see a lot of the troubles that agents are going through in the industry. One thing that I see every single day is, what CRM should I use? It's like the most common question ever asked in any Facebook group, any school group I've ever seen. So I posted on my story yesterday saying there's so many agents that just wake up and their only task for that day is going in a Facebook group and asking about a CRM that they're never going to use. Because sometimes they think like, I'm doing something, right? I'm communicating with other agents. I'm getting engagement in a Facebook group. So I posted that to Twitter. It got like, I don't know, 4 likes or something like that. So not great. Then I posted it to Instagram stories and I saw a bunch of interactions. So then I posted it to Facebook and I continued to validate the idea that this is a note that I should definitely hit later on in content. So I'm not going to do it just as a text only, but probably as a AI meme or some other like video representation of that post. So that's kind of how the thought process starts, is I see something that I see all the time. And if I see something consistently, that's probably something I should make content about. And then also, yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask you something? What works better for you, your reels or your carousels?
It's very algorithm. It's like I ride the waves of the algorithm. So I feel like some days it's carousels 100%, where I have mixed media carousels that are half video, half static image, half tweets, because then I'm serving up different things to the algorithm all in one post. But the reels, to me, are the ones that go the most viral. Like I'll have a carousel, I know that I could probably be more consistent with the engagement because I'll get more saves from it. But with the reel, I have a better chance of like hitting a viral home run. But for agents, I don't think your goal should be necessarily to hit that viral home run. It's more, how do I get that consistent engagement?
Yeah, that's a good point.
What about you?
Are you creating, I'll tell you in a second.
Okay.
Are you creating all of these yourself? All
Yeah.
of those reels and all of those memes yourself?
Yes, this is great, Jason. This is my favorite part of the interview so
No
far.
one's ever asked him about
No one's ever asked me these questions before. Yeah, I create every single one. I've posted over 5,000 times on the Broke Agent account. I only trust myself with that. And same thing on the BAM content on that Instagram. That's me. I've uploaded every single post. Obviously, like we have a
Oh.
process with video editing but I basically will look at our blogs and figure out what from this blog can I take that I could turn into an image post, or what's happening in the world right now that I could turn into a meme. Obviously, it's holiday season. So it's people being out of town for the holidays, it's travel, it's frozen lock boxes, it's the anxiety of going to your holiday party, your brokerage party. And I've posted so much now that I have these notes that I could just keep hitting with slightly different captions. So it's like, I'm sure you've done this too at this point, even though you've only been doing, content since February. I'm sure Jason, you've done this too. Is if you have something that's crushing and that has crushed before, redo it in some sort of fashion, right? Post the same thing 15 times, basically, with a slight uh, addition to it, addition,
It's
tweak.
really good.
His
So what you're
his head
essentially
is just getting bigger and bigger.
is
Now
oh no, it's expanding.
it's
So here's the
expanding.
deal. I'll give Eric his flowers. He's extremely plugged into like the zeitgeist of like what's happening, not just like in pop culture, but also just in the real estate space. So even though he's not selling houses anymore, he's surrounded by people that are, right. Business partner is Byron Lazine, number one agent in Connecticut. Co-host is me, number 742 agent in San Diego. Like I just picked that number out of my. But like oh, blur that. Blur that.
I said earlier, we're fine.
Okay, we got so ultimately though he's so plugged into what is actually like happening that it's relevant for social too, and then he just has a great way of like obviously getting it down into carousel post or whatever works. Yeah, video reels tend to go a little bit more viral because they get longer read, but then like the mixed media carousels are good too because with carousels you get at least 2 at bats. So if someone doesn't look at it on the first time, Instagram will go to the second slide and then feed it to them again. So you get more at bats with the carousels. But if your content's crappy, it doesn't matter what medium you do. But if your content's great, it'll get found either way. That being said, reels and carousels are probably the two.
The two.
Yeah. The thought process behind carousels also has to be similar to reels, where that first slide is the hook, as you know. So whatever text or picture you're using, that's the hook to get people to keep swiping. And the algorithm also notices, hey, say Celine posted a carousel of 6 swipers. If I go through all 6, that's an indication to the algorithm that I stayed on that post for a very long time and that I interacted basically 6 times. They're going to push that a little bit more. So each slide that you have still has to be entertaining or still has to keep people. So it's like you have to keep, hooking people in before the payoff at the end of the carousel post. Because if you just have a bunch of random stuff, then it's not going to do as well.
Can I get your guys' opinion on a concept?
Yes.
The this is how much you need to make to qualify for a $500,000 house in Santa Ana. What about turning that into a carousel? Do you think that something like that would do well, or is it just too much information in a carousel?
It would work, yeah. So I would say like something like a tweet chain, and that would probably work too, where it's like where you're having like one of, and it says on there like 1 of 6, 2 of 6, 3 of 6, so people know to keep swiping. And then kind of like the listicle thing from earlier, like when they know there's only 4, they'll stay to the 4th because they want to hear it. So if they know there's 6 slides, they'll swipe to the 6th. That being said, yeah, so Neil Dingra is a great example of this, who posts, Sharon too, but Neil posts these maybe twice a week now, where it's like a tweet chain. And it's maybe something that's going on in his business and you want to stick to the end. Those work really, really well, especially when there's numbers involved. Because then people can physically like see the numbers. So like your reel did a really good job because in the caption you broke down the numbers and you had the captions, but when you're saying it, sometimes people will miss the numbers part because they can't see the numbers. But then so on a tweet chain, those tend to work really well. So yeah, some sort of version of like I say tweet chain, it can be an Instagram threads too. I'm not saying Twitter. I'm just saying like the post over and over and over again. Those work really, really well, especially when there's numbers involved.
That's great. So anyone listening to this, you can feel free to steal that idea.
Definitely.
You could just make a carousel and talk about the payments on a property. You don't have to be in any of the photos. It's just educational, but also you can make it aesthetic if you want to.
Totally.
Yeah. If you're good with the written word, you could blow up your account by just text only posts. Like,
Hmm.
look at Jimmy Mackin and what he's doing with listing leads, and Chris Smith. They are crushing it on Instagram right now, getting thousands of shares from just, it's like a screenshot of the notes or it's a whiteboard or something like that. And because of their different formats of content, that really hits the note to the consumer of, hey, this is a different style. I want to look at this. Like, I always try to mix up screenshots of tweets. Maybe it's an organic thing on my notes section. Maybe it's an actual, notepad like this that you take a picture of, and you can also make these in AI. I'm sure most of those are actually made
No, but
Hmm.
in
the
there.
jankier the better. Like, so if
Yeah.
you're just doing it in your notes app on the phone, right? We've shared that for someone where they had the notes app and then they did the green screen
Green
of it where
screen.
their head was kind
Hmm.
of covering it. And then they kind of like released it as they were going. So people wanted to see like what was on the notes app. But the notes app is something that everybody has on their phone. So that it's instantly relatable because it's not polished. It's janky.
Hmm.
And like, we want to
Yeah.
see that. Or like you just said, like if I scribbled something down here, like when people do, Neil does this too, where he does the whiteboard thing, where
Hmm.
he's like, hey, if I was to qualify for this home, all right, so 500,000, I need to make, $100,000 a year because the debt to income can't be above 42. And you're doing that on the board, crushes. Absolutely.
Mm. There's so many good ideas in this podcast
Yeah.
right
If
now.
if you're still listening, make sure you throw this video a like and let us know how good the ideas are.
This is
Comment
a
the word
banger.
ideas. Yeah, this is, I like this when people flip the interview around us, Jason. This is good. Maybe this is the
Yeah.
new style. We have people come on and just interview us.
Not sure this has ever happened before. This is awesome. Us,
No,
this is great.
exactly. Another thing that I think works really well is, I mentioned testing on Facebook or Twitter. Threads, I've completely forgot about, and I'm an idiot for forgetting about it because I just thought that no one's using it. People are using it. Sharon gets so much of his content validation from posting on Threads. So if you're going to post on Threads, do that as your dumping ground, your testing site for pictures and for text only stuff to see how it does, to then take that to Instagram.
They're putting the threads into the stories now
Yeah,
organically,
good.
and on
Mhm.
Facebook as well. So like you can get back to your threads. So if you post, I mean, I don't want to tell people like instead of Twitter, use Threads because that's kind of the same platform. But then Instagram's going to pull it. Like I'll find myself on Instagram on the stories, and then I end up on Threads because I clicked something that Instagram knew I wanted to read, and then it brought
Mhm.
me over to Threads. So it's like organically pushing into the Instagram story too.
See,
So,
but this is something that I
mhm.
struggle with, and maybe the listeners struggle with this too. Is it so time consuming to post to Instagram, to TikTok, to YouTube, to Twitter? And then thankfully, Instagram automatically does it to Threads and Facebook sometimes. But what's a good way for an agent to do all of those things without spending hours on their phone?
All right, Celine's content stands out from the crowd because of all those different content buckets, the skits, the listing videos, everything. And if you're an agent looking to stand out from the crowd, Reminder Media is a resource that you have to check out. You get your own branded print and digital magazines, email newsletters, and social media content. Reminder delivers these resources to your contacts on autopilot, keeping you top of mind with your database. All you got to do is focus on your follow-up calls and watch referrals and repeat business come in. Use the link below to check out Reminder Media. Well, if you're just doing a post a day, publishing it, you should publish it on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, maybe even a YouTube community post. Probably not for every single post, but and TikTok, because TikTok has carousel posts now too.
Mm,
It's really an extra 15, 20 minutes to make that transition of, like you said, Instagram, you could publish it to Facebook and Threads right there. And then
mhm.
it's the same video. If it's a video, you could download that from your reels and just post it to TikTok. That's 5 minutes. And then if it's a LinkedIn and text only thing, maybe you just kind of copy paste the caption. So
Mm.
I don't think it takes as long as people think. Like, I've been doing this my entire career. It is annoying. It's an extra 15, 20 minutes, but at the same time, you have to remember that your audience is consuming on these different platforms. And if they didn't see your post on Instagram, they might see it on Facebook. And if you're turning off one of those channels, that's a huge loss that you're going to have of this person is not seeing it.
Have either of you experienced a client or something positive out of a different social platform?
Absolutely. Yeah, I've closed deals from Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and not TikTok yet. I've gotten leads from TikTok. So four of the platforms I've signed closed deals.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, this is my sign.
if you've been listening to the walkthrough, to the listeners, I'm saying we've had so many YouTube people on that do hyper local content on YouTube that swear by it, right? Like that's, conditioned buyers. It's like 70% buyers on
Mhm.
YouTube, but because it's long form, you're building that trust. That was a question I was going to ask you, Celine, is because you're so good at the storytelling and all of this content, do you have a YouTube channel where you're also going to draw people, or an email list, or both?
Yes, I do post on YouTube. I post them as shorts because the videos that I create are short form. They're not really long form.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all shorts, YouTube shorts.
Plus they're in
Um,
vertical probably, right? So they're in
they're-
vertical aspect. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so it makes more sense. I haven't gotten into long form YouTube content, maybe in the future. But email lists, we use our CRM is called Surefire, but it's owned by Top of Mind. It's a pretty much loan officer CRM because I haven't really found one that can do both very well, like real estate and loans. So we use Surefire. And that's where, so my goal, and this is what I'm working on right now, is to get all of the leads that I get from Instagram or whatever social platform to automatically funnel into the CRM and just put people on a drip
Mm-hmm.
campaign. So if you have any advice on what's the best way to do that, I think it depends on like your connecting
Mm-hmm.
software, right? So like Zapier is a good one.
Yeah, Zapier, definitely. I know Lindsay Joe uses that to pull everybody directly from DMs. I was going to ask, how do you get leads on social right now? Is it from the call to actions where you say comment the word listing and then you have a chat bot reach out to them, or what's the move there?
Yeah, I get the most response if I do it myself, like if I just
Mm-hmm.
straight up DM people.
Mm-hmm.
But if I use ManyChat, it'll send them a Google form, and it's like here's buyer seller contact form, and I'll just ask them questions in that contact form. Then they'll submit it, and I'll reach out to them.
Mm-hmm. And is that call to action mainly on the listing videos, or is it on the educational videos too?
No, just on the listing videos. Mostly the educational videos is like, well, what do you think of this? Like if it's
Mm-hmm.
a law where it's going to impact, like you're probably going to see this in Los Angeles very soon, is that they just passed a law, SB 79, and you can now build mid to high rise buildings next to any major transportation. So that's a good educational video. But what am I going to like? I'm not going to really try to get clients from that unless they're
Mm-hmm.
developers, you
Right.
know?
Yeah. So it's just top of mind, grow the brand sort of content.
Yeah.
Makes sense. All right. I mean, this has been amazing, Jason. I think real quick, if we can, because we are in the holiday spirit and Celine is wearing a Santa hat. And we did say we were going to talk about it, just December content ideas. Jason, I'll start with you. Do you have anything planned for the holidays?
No, I hate this,
Yeah.
like the Transacty seasonal stuff, which you do so well. But like, and right now, like Derek Gregory last year did the Spotify Wrapped, but have it be like my year Wrapped, but then a funny angle on like basically
Yeah.
7,000 cups of coffee drank and 6,000. You know what I mean? Like your
Yep.
Spotify Wrapped. Outside of that, obviously Alyssa Kernut
Yep.
crushes she's got her holiday guide
Yes.
light. You know what I mean? So like that type of stuff where it's like the best holiday lights in San Diego. DM me the word guide. So you can even like if you're listening to this, you could go to ChatGPT, say, hey, give me the 6 best holiday light shows in San Diego, put that into a PDF, and then just run a reel, with a bunch of B-roll lights and stuff that's like, hey, for the 6 best holiday lights, comment the word holiday. And then you have that PDF go out. Now you've created like a lead magnet for like the best holiday light spots in your city. And then if there's any type of like, jingle bell parades, or here in San Diego, we have the Parade of Lights. It's like a boat show thing where they do the lights. Anything that's like festive for this holiday thing, obviously put that out to the world and then have some sort of like comment the word blah for info on it. I think all that works.
For hating these ideas, those were great ideas.
Yeah.
Right,
I didn't say I didn't have them. I just don't.
Right. You hate them. Spotify Wrapped, we're actually going to have one of those in BAMX, but I was just thinking about doing one. Yeah, we did collab with Derek last year on that, the Spotify Wrapped, how many lock boxes I opened, how many buyers blew me off, that sort of thing. But I almost feel like I've done that so much too that I can't even do that one anymore.
Spotify Wrapped is very quickly. It took 3 years, but I feel like now everybody's like, okay, we've seen your Wrapped.
Yeah, but everyone's posting it.
Everybody posts it for like a week. It gets really popular.
I saw this tweet. It's the most genius marketing thing because everybody just wants to say, look at me. Here's what I'm doing. Like and they added in that extra move where the age of your listeners, or sorry, the age of what
of what you listen to.
Of what you listen to. And mine was 34 and I'm 35 years old. So
wow,
you
isn't
can
that crazy?
imagine. That is
The
that
data
is
of
crazy.
you is real data.
A lot of Akon and T-Pain, 3-6 Mafia. Celine,
Early 2000s rap. Let's go.
Exactly. Celine, December, which is happening right now. We are in December. What do you got planned for this month in terms of any holiday content?
So, my age is 26, by the way, my Spotify age, in case anyone was curious. I'm 26. My age was 26. So I thought that was cool.
There you go.
What was yours, Jason?
67.
It was my age. No, I was younger. It was 26 and I'm 40. So
who are you listening
to? Music.
Who is your top artist, both of you?
Stick Figure.
Okay.
I don't know who it is.
Like,
I listen.
It's like reggae, but Stick Figure and Bad Bunny.
Oh.
My top two.
Wow, Bad Bunny.
And Fred Again was my third, and then K-pop Demon Hunters and Kids Bop. Because I got kids.
Because you got
kids.
Oh,
because you have kids. Okay,
when
that
kids
makes
take
sense.
over your Spotify, you can't use rap the same way because it's all kid stuff.
What about you, Celine?
Top artist, you probably never heard of him, but he's great. His name is Anees, Anees. Phenomenal. Highly recommend. What about you, Eric?
It was Drake. Look.
That speaks volumes.
Does it? I don't know. Drake has so many bangers. All right. Anyway, Celine, into your December content ideas. You're about to get to them. What are they?
So funny. I don't really have any. I'm also not really like a trend holiday person. I think it'd be cool to do what Alyssa's doing and say like, these are the best places to see lights. I'm filming content today and I'm planning on rinsing and repeating what's working. So you guys might have seen the video where it's like, hi, my name is 1924 West Oceanfront, but you can call me West. That was inspiration from Matt. Yes, exactly. That was inspiration from Benny, but there's no people involved. It's just the house speaking. I'm going to do that today for 2 more videos and to see if that works for those properties. So in terms of holiday content, nothing really planned. I mean, you guys have mentioned some great ideas between this episode and then the last episode that you guys did with Alyssa. Phenomenal holiday content ideas. So if you came for just the holiday content, I apologize.
Well, thank you. Here's a little tip too, is you could just wear that in your listing videos if this is something that's going out in December, because that's a seasonal thing in itself. A lot of people just change their logos. They put a little Santa hat on, but you don't need to actually trend jack. You could have holiday music on in the background for the listing video, or you just got the hat on.
We call
that so good.
Visual hook.
Yeah,
I think I'll do that today. Maybe I'll just do that today when I do like, this is how much you need to make. I'll just wear this hat.
How easy is that?
Wow.
You could hook. Yeah, genius. Exactly. Genius. All right, I got a couple more here for you. You ready? We got prediction posts, because it is the end of the year. So anytime you could do some sort of prediction, whether it's about the housing market or it's about who's going to win the college football national championship, what price is Bitcoin going to be? I don't know. You could throw in different predictions all at once, so you could actually get the comments going. That's kind of more end of the year content. Of course, your festive home tours, highlight a specific charity, winter realtor problems. You could film yourself doing client drop-offs, and then year in the review posts, but not doing, I sold $10 million this year, kind of more your style, Celine, where it's stories or it's problems. It's, something that kind of like shows that you overcame something.
You know what I think would be cool is if you did client drop-off, like you're dropping off the gifts at all their properties, but you tell the story of how you met them.
Yes.
So instead of saying like, oh, I sold it for 900,000, you say, oh, I met this client at the tutoring center, and then they bought a home 8 years later.
Yeah, I love that sort of connection. You had that in the caption where you said one of your clients was a tutor, right? Or not a tutor, was one of your professors.
Yeah, no, our tutor, yeah.
Yeah, and that connection works. All right, Jason, anything else here? I'm enjoying this. This is a good conversation here. I almost don't want it to end, but we've hit an hour.
Episode.
Yeah. All right, well, go ahead.
You've inspired me as well to try to be funnier on social. It's not working yet. So if you have any tidbits on how to post funny content, I would love to know what advice you have.
I think the skits you're doing are funny in the sense that you have you don't have to be laughing out loud at your content, but that is your comedic angle, is the skits. So it could also just be something you wear. Like if it's a nerdy buyer or something like that only wants to know numbers, right? You could be wearing glasses. And if it's like a numerical buyer, or if it's a millennial buyer, you could have them dressed as Cassidy here, or whatever a millennial would dress as. I don't know. Like you could kind of just
millennial.
It could be like visual humor in the sense of you're just playing a skit with someone who looks the role of what they're talking about.
Okay, I want to try it and then run it by you, and you'd let me know what you think.
Okay, I'm sure it'll be great because all of your content is. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a hell of an episode. Celine, what is your Instagram handle so that people could follow?
It's Celine_Hannah, SELENE_HANNA. Thank you for listening, everyone. Please reach out if you have any questions or if you just want to chat. Eric, thank you so much. Jason, thank you so much. You guys are amazing.
And thank you so much. That's an episode, and we'll see you next week on The Walkthrough.